I've seen my horoscope, I know about my sign, but I don't know where I'm going to, or if I got time. Still I wonder why rest aside this gloom. Maybe I hear a cosmic tune. They say the universe is filled with songs, and if you really try, my friend, you can sing along. If you have the will, you'll find your way out soon. It could be I hear a cosmic tune.
Hey, how you doing out there? This is Bob on Bob's Blues and the News, coming in with a little cosmic tune there. A little tune I done did a while ago. It's out there on Spotify and all your streaming sites. So you can look up Jeter and the Jets or Bob Jeter. I've got songs under both brands. And a couple of the brands too, but I won't get into that now. But anyway, yeah, I do music. I do the blues and other types of songs as well. And I also do the news, is why I'm here on my podcast. So I hope you're listening out there in the virtual world. Coming to you, like I said, from Atlanta, Georgia, off the cuff, giving you my 4 cents. Just telling you how I feel about what's going on in the world. And I usually write down a little note or an idea before I get on. I don't probably, prepare for this in detail. And I probably should prepare more in detail with my podcast. And once I get up and running again, maybe I'll get more serious about it, because I do other things as well. I like the music, the finance business. So if you need money for your business, hey, give me a call, 404-388-0089. Text me, WhatsApp, it's Bob, and that's with the company First Capital Source. So see, I'm doing an ad for my own company. So what's all of that? And I also have my other company, which I'm trying to get up and running, Stone Shot Records. It's like an independent record company. I'm also affiliated with Bentley Records. I'm giving you all my lowdown. And I've also got a BA in history, is why I'm doing this podcast. Once you study history, it's both a blessing and a curse, because you see what's going on in the world, and it's fascinating, but yet you get very frustrated because you know what works. I mean, you have an idea what works. Not that you know everything, but, history does repeat itself. And to see people continually to make the same mistake over and over again, it's sort of disheartening, I mean, the people on the left are really married to the left, when all they got to do is pick up any kind of legitimate history book and realize socialism, communism does not work. Anybody who's religious knows if you take God out of the picture, it doesn't work. The society soon decays. And then when you have zealots on the religious side, like these jihadists in Iran, they totally pervert religion. They pervert the notion of God. It's more about me, really, me and the power, I believe in this ideology, and it's up to me to take over the world and spread this ideology. But it's not really about God. It's about you and your ego and your power. I'm talking about the mullahs and the IRGC in Iran. And of course, there are a lot of religious factions like that who make the world a very dangerous place indeed. So you mix that ideology stuff on the religious right, mostly coming from Islam, it seems today, and you combine that with some Marxism and socialism, and you have the red-green revolution, which is terrorizing the planet. And the people in the West who are on the left mainly on the left. There's people on the right, too, who are blind, but it's mainly from the left. They don't see the danger. They don't admit that there's danger to these ideologies. And they're all about getting rid of their opponent. Of course, the left hates Donald Trump, and they'll do anything to get rid of him, you know. And so it's just a hate they have for this man, when really he could be, even with all his, flaws, he could be one of the greatest presidents that we've ever had in the United States. I mean, he is definitely changing the world. I mean, with the story, what's going on now with the war of Iran, and of course, I know he said today, what was it, yesterday, that no, he's not going to take out the power plants and stuff in Iran, because he said he would do it, if the Strait of Hormuz, how you spell that? How you pronounce that? The Strait of Hormuz was not freed up. If there wasn't free passage through that strait, he would bomb all the power plants, all the infrastructure, basically, in Iran. And he said, oh, well, I stopped. I'm going to give it a little delay because we're talking peace now with Iran. So what's up with that? I mean, who's he talking to, really? So I've heard various stories. Some people said, oh, he was talking to the prime minister, not the prime minister, but the speaker of the parliament in Iran. And that guy said, oh, no, he was not talking to me, because he knew if he had said that he had been talking to Trump, he would be killed immediately. And then I was listening to a fellow I listen to all the time on YouTube, Tutsi TV. He's an Iranian and based out of London. And he knows a lot what's going on in Iran. His father's in Iran. I don't think he's seen his father in 20 years. But he has a lot of people on the ground, has good reporting. And he said that Pahlavi, the son of the late last Shah, spoke with Trump, and he said, please don't do that. Don't bomb all the power plants. Don't bomb all the infrastructure in Iran, because we're going to need that, when we take charge, when we take power. So I don't know how long this will take before the Iranian people, the freedom-loving, the sacrificing, the brutalized true Iranian people, I don't know when they will actually be able to go back on the streets and take over the regime, take power from the regime. But I don't think it's going to be too much longer. And of course, there's the problem with the oil, as I mentioned, with the Strait of Hormuz. But the stock market went way up today, because as soon as Trump said we're going to pause, everybody said, oh, the war might be over soon. I mean, I think the major part of this war will be over in a couple of weeks. We got Passover coming up. So I know the Jews in Israel would like to see the war over by Passover, because it's a big holiday for the Jews, even though they've been managing pretty well. And amazingly, there are always miracles in Israel, because God looks over Israel. And even though there's been explosions, there's been missiles that have, that hit the earth, that hit the various parts of Israel. Not that many people have actually died. A lot of people have been injured, but not a lot of people have actually been killed. Thank God. But they would love to see peace by Passover, and that's, coming up pretty soon. That's coming up, my gosh, in about less than 2 weeks, a little over a week. So I don't know if it's going to be over by then or not, but of course that goes on for 8 days. But it would be nice, if they came to an end during that time. There's a lot of symbolism on Passover, because, that's the time when the Jews left Egypt and they were free by Hashem, by God. And Moses took them out, across the Red Sea, and they got their liberty, their freedom. So maybe this will be at the same period where the Iranians will get their freedom. I know they just had a holiday as well, right? They had Persian New Year. So perhaps it's in the cards for this war to come to a close quickly. I hope so. Now, I don't think it'll totally be calm in the Middle East. I mean, you have to realize the Arabs have been fighting the West for 1,400 years. So it's not going to stop that war of the Arabs against the West. I mean, it comes up and it dies down, it raises its head at certain times, and then, the Arab armies get defeated, or the Arab armies defeated the Western armies, whatever. It's back and forth. It's been back and forth for 400 years. But mainly the West, and I would say, most of the civilization in the West have managed to push back, except for during that 1400 period, except at the beginning. Now, at the beginning, the Arabs were very strong. Muhammad made an army, man, and after him, about 100 years after him, the Arabs controlled most of the civilized world. But, it didn't last. They fought the Crusades. And the Crusades, of course, really failed. So, but in the last, I don't know, several hundred years at least, and going back further even, it's been mainly the West that has taken the high road and has pushed civilization to wherever it is today. I mean, the Arabs have not really given us anything. I mean, what have the Arabs given to civilization? Have they had a lot of great scientists? Have they had a lot of great artists? Have they had a lot of great doctors? Have they had a lot of great, I don't know, leaders who preach freedom and liberty? Not that many, So they haven't really given that much to civilization. And a lot of them are still living like they lived 1,400 years ago. They're tribal, mainly. And I think that's the only way you can control the Arabs, is to keep them more or less in a sort of a tribal confederacy or whatever. Yeah, And the most successful states, Arab states, are ruled by a family. So it's like a tribe, Saudi Arabia, they have their family, the major family, royal family, that rules Saudi Arabia. In the same way with Qatar and a lot of these other Arab countries. And they are more or less stable because it's just one family that rules. It's sort of a tribal kind of politic. And so I think that's the only thing that really works for the Arab world. But it's an interesting world we live in. So whatever happens, keep your calm, keep your peace. What did Churchill said during the Second World War? Be calm and carry on. That's about what we should do here. And if you're a musician, you keep on rocking, keep calm and keep on rocking. Yeah. But yeah, don't let it get the best of you, because, if you watch the news too much, which I do, I've been watching too much news, it'll make your head spin, So do what you got to do to put bread on the table, to keep your family secure and safe, and let God worry about everything else, huh? Anyway, this is Bob on Bob's Blues and the News, and I'll just check on out with a little bit more about Cosmic Tune.
Sometimes I feel like I could fly high, make it all the way to the moon. And other times I feel like dying. Wait, I think I hear a cosmic tune. Hard to know what is God's plan, but on this stage I see an invisible hand. Can't help but wonder what wonder's coming soon. Could be I hear a cosmic tune.